So question number one, why did you decide to start AdLab Podcast? Well, that's a good question. I have had 8+ years experience in marketing, and for me, I saw that there was a gap actually when it comes to education about marketing. It is one of those things that people think that you can just wake up tomorrow, go ahead, be a marketer. I mean, anyone and everyone just thinks they can do it, and that is annoying. And I decided to focus a lot on advertisement because now in the age of digital marketing, everyone has the tools to sit and create ads, but there has to be a differentiating factor between business owners who want to create long-lasting brands and those ones which are just coming and going. And also, I got tired of trying to always explain everything in marketing, and it's often like you're trying to beg business owners to invest in marketing. It's like people don't understand there is like a cost to acquire a customer. So AdLab Podcast is really creating a space, and it's really creating that opportunity for business owners, for decision makers, for solo entrepreneurs who are going to run a 1-month show to really understand the science behind marketing and see how best to use tried principles of advertising and just narrow it down to the size of their business. I find myself in marketing, and why should you listen to me? So let me give you guys like a little background story. I think my fate was tied in marketing in ways that I did not know existed. I remember in the early 2000s, my dad bought the first desktop computer. And at that time, computers were not that popular. So the desktop, you had 5 parts of a computer. And he bought the computer and he just sat all of us down, me and my siblings, plus my mom. She also had to sit down. And our dad showed us how to use a desktop computer. And quickly I got accustomed to the PowerPoint program. And the reason why I really liked it was that you could make words move around. And I think that really just caught my attention as a kid. And as I grew up and as I was really wondering, what am I going to be when I grow up? It was when people are saying doctors and all that, I just knew I wanted to either be an animator. It's actually really hard to be an animator. Respect creatives. Or just be in the line of marketing and branding and all that. So that's how I found myself in marketing, which makes it to question number 3. What does AdLab actually mean? Okay, so when I came up with the word, it's pretty simple. Marketing is still a science, even though people don't want to agree to that. So AdLab is pretty much science plus marketing. And AdLab is like that space where we are able to experiment with like different copy and advertisements, visuals and all that. So that's why AdLab came about. And also it was inspired by agencies that have stood the test of time. So timeless principles from agencies like Ogilvy and Mather, although there are also other old school initial advertising agencies. And I know somebody will be like, why are you focusing on American agency instead of maybe using Kenyan marketing agencies? I mean, I don't know which marketing agency in Kenya was existing in the 1970s. I wasn't even a thought at that time. Was my mom even born? I don't even know. So apparently these guys kept articles of their principles that proved that this sort of marketing tactics could work. And so even today, it's able to ship and work across different countries, borders, and industries. And that's why the first season is focused on David and Ogilvy. I mean, if you have different places where I can learn about history of marketing and advertising from Kenyan agency contexts, it's also okay. Plus, I'm sure majority of the ads that we even remember from like the early 2000s Yeah, guys, by early 2000 I knew who my name is or what my name was. Those were probably shot in South Africa and stuff. So what makes AdLab Podcast very different or stand out from different podcasts? I could say number one, when I was creating the scripts for this monologue podcast, I wasn't envisioning AdLab Podcast to be that popular podcast with like 1 trillion and million of listeners. Come on, when it comes to educative stuff, it's almost boring. No one cares about it. So that's one differentiating factor. Unless you really love marketing, or you really want to understand it from a context of marketing principles, then listen to it. If you want to be entertained, I'm not an entertainer, so too bad for that. But it is one of those niche podcasts that just have to exist, right? Not everybody is going to do podcast for love, relationships, and hosting celebrities. At one point, there has to be a market that is yearning for education and educative content in different industries that we have. And then also, there are some episodes that are tailored for specific industries like FMCG. We're able to see how did agencies like Ogilvy and Martha, what principles were they using for advertising? And remember, advertising is an element of marketing, so don't get that twisted. Other things like finance, how are they able to package a financial service in an advertisement? How are they able to sell travel, the traveling industry and what have you? So you get to realize it's not about the ticket price. It's really about the destination and creating memories and stories around that. So that's the difference. If that really like ticks your bubble and you're like, oh wow, that's something interesting that I would like to listen to and understand, and now bring all those principles to now solo entrepreneurs, macro entrepreneurs, and SMEs, then that is the USP for this season 1 podcast for you. Question number 5. What was the first episode about, and how did you feel recording it? Oh, if you're a marketer here in this country, I'm so sure you're gonna relate. If you have actually worked in a founder-led business, or like an SME, or somewhere where decisions are made within a split of a second, you'll come to realize that marketing is normally seen as that magic that it's supposed to happen. Like, you'll start working somewhere today, the next week people are asking you, so where is the profit? Like, chill, Savannah, slow down, I haven't even breathed. So the first episode was basically just talking about corporate advertising and what marketing can and cannot do for you. It's really for a lot of decision makers and also marketers per se, because we go through this. People expect marketing to fix a lot of things, and at the end of the day, if your product is bad, if your service is terrible, no amount of advertising, no amount of pumping budget into events is going to change that. At the core of it all, people don't buy advertisements as much as you would like to believe. People buy product and service at the end of the day. It's what they take home with them. It could have whatever, your activation and your excitement would have enticed them, but at the end of the day, to get them to buy it back the second time, it really needs to do a good job. So marketing is not magic. It's not an answer to a bad product. It is not an answer to quick profits. It takes time. So if you're patient, well and good. If you're gonna get a marketing personnel and ask them about profit the next week. Number 6, my favorite episode is episode 11, and I talk about direct response marketing. So direct response marketing, at the time they used to mail to people. You remember at that time, and this is based in US. I really don't know, guys, what you were doing in 1990 here in the country. If you experience direct ads whatever marketing, where people would maybe send like letters to specific people and then try to get them to sell things, coupons as well. That was direct response marketing. And actually, when you look at the principles of that time, still applies today. So instead of now the physical letters, we have emails, and email marketing is still a thing, even with digital. So you'll come to realize that the way platforms for digital marketing are set up, they follow the same principles of marketing that have been in existence for years and years. So that's why I'm always so bamboozled when someone feels like, oh, just because you are born in the 2000s where Instagram exists, automatically you are good to run ads and you're good to go. There's no problem with that thinking. The only problem is that why should you go through all that hassle to figure out things on the job while there's a lot of information that has been in existence for decades and almost a century about all these principles of marketing that are still being picked and used to create all these platforms that we are seeing here. So that was my favorite. Direct response marketing, my favorite episode. I like that, and I had so much commentary on it. So which episode do you think listeners are going to love most? I'd say episode 4, which talks about 38 rules of advertising, super practical. And also episode 2, which talks about the 7 deadly sins of advertising, short, to the point. And yeah, like if you don't want to hear all the mumbo jumbos about marketing and advertising and the science behind it and who did what, and you don't want to get bored, just listen to episode 2, 7 deadly sins of advertising. Make sure you don't commit those sins, and you'll be good to go.